Hello students. In the previous video we discussed about solutions, particularly the saturated solutions, unsaturated solutions and supersaturated solutions. What are the properties of a solution? All of these points we discussed in our previous video. In today's lecture we'll be covering what is the concentration of a solution, how do we express the concentration of a solution, what is solubility, and what are solubility curves. Starting with the concentration of a solution. So generally we say that a solution is concentrated or dilute. Okay. So a solution is one in which there is a solvent and there is a solute. Like what we saw here in this short video, here the water, a solvent which is present in excess, and these colors are solute which are diffusing and dissolving into this solution, okay, until they become homogeneous mixture. Okay, so if there are only water and say one solution, this red color, then it will be known as the binary solution. If there are three components, water and these two solutes, then it is ternary, and three solutes and one solvent, it is the quaternary. Okay, so when we say the concentration of a solution, that means what is the concentration of a particular solute in the solution. Okay, solute plus solvent will give the solution. So for example, the red color, green color and blue color are the three solutes. Okay, red, green and blue are three solutes. I want to know that what is the concentration of this red color solute. Okay, so there are the two ways by which we can express the concentration of a solution. That is, how much amount of the mass of the solute in grams is present in the 100 grams of solution. Okay, grams of solute per 100 grams of solution, okay, is nothing but the concentration of that substance in mass, because we are telling grams. Okay, so there are the two terms here we will be using. One is the mass percent. Okay, very simple thing. Okay, mass percent means what is the mass of the solute, okay, in the mass of the solution. You know that solution is nothing but solute plus solvent. Okay, because we are talking about mass, everything has to be expressed in grams. Okay, now because we are telling percentage, into 100. Okay, so what is the fraction of the solute into 100 will give you the percentage. For example, if 10 grams of the sodium chloride, okay, if 10 grams of the sodium chloride is added to the 90 grams of water, okay, 90 grams of solvent, okay, plus 10 grams of the solute, it will be how much? So that is nothing but 10 by 100 into 100. Okay, that is nothing but 10%. So mass percent is nothing but how much percentage of the solute is present in the solution. We can also express the concentration in volume percent. Okay, for example, what is the volume of solute by volume of solution, which is nothing but again volume of solute plus volume of solvent into 100. Okay, so if 30 ml of alcohol is mixed in the 70 ml of water, okay, then ml here, okay, ml, then how much it will come? 30 by 100 into 100, that is nothing but 30%. Okay, so it is very simple, nothing but we are expressing that the concentration as a percentage. There are various ways in which we can express the concentration of the solution. This is only in the present syllabus we are discussing about the mass percent and volume percent. Okay, but the concentration means what? Concentration means how much of a given substance is present in the total amount of that substance. Okay, nothing but how much of this matter is present in the solution. Now, solubility is a very important concept. Okay, so solubility, what is solubility? It is the amount of the solute that dissolves in the 100 grams of solvent to form a saturated solution at a given temperature. So the amount of solute in 100 grams of solvent, okay, to form a saturated solution at a given temperature is the solubility of that solute. Now, it is important to note that we are telling that at a given temperature. Okay, so you already know that if you are changing the temperature, the solubility also changes. So suppose we make a graph, okay, in which on the x-axis we are taking temperature, okay, say degree centigrade, and on the y-axis solubility, okay, y-axis. So the temperature say up to 100 we are taking 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Same thing here, we are taking 20 gram solubility, okay, 20 grams of the solute is dissolving in say 100 grams of solvent, so 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Okay, now we will compare this solubility curve. What is the solubility curve? We are comparing the solubility of the given solute with respect to temperature. Suppose we take sodium chloride, okay, sodium chloride. So this is around 40 grams of that sodium chloride. It will dissolve, almost goes parallel. Okay, not much change from say 0 degree to 100 degree. Sodium chloride solubility. When we take the potassium chloride, there is a slight increase. Slight increase is there. Okay, this is sodium chloride, this is potassium chloride. We compare this with potassium sulfate. Okay, when we compare this with potassium sulfate, it has a still less solubility. Potassium sulfate and calcium sulfate is very interesting because initially there will be a certain increase in the solubility and then it will come down. Okay, calcium sulfate. Then we look at the solubility of sodium nitrate. So almost by the time it is reaching the 60 degrees, okay, its solubility increases very steep. Okay, the potassium nitrate is extraordinary because it is starting from almost say 10 grams in 100 grams solubility, and by the time it is reaching almost 50 to 60 degrees centigrade, it's just like going like this. Okay, so this is a sodium nitrate and this is potassium nitrate. But potassium bromide is like almost a straight line increase. Okay, so what do we make out of this solubility curve? There are the different salts whose solubility is, with respect to temperature, it is not essential that always it has to increase. That is what is interesting. Here for example, sodium chloride, very little increase is there. Potassium chloride is okay. But if you look at calcium chloride, it is anomalous. Okay, that is first it increases and then it decreases. Potassium nitrate, it is extraordinary, very less to almost reaches 60 degrees, it is increases like anything. Okay, many fold increase in the solubility. So in this way, the different salts are behaving differently with respect to their solubility with the temperature change. Now, what does the factors affecting solubility? Okay, one is the size of the solute. Okay, smaller the size of the solute particle, the larger surface area it will have and more easily it will dissolve. Stirring, okay, mixing also helps to increase the rate of the solubility, so it will be able to dissolve fast because that is also going to increase the surface area, more contact, okay, increasing the diffusion. The temperature also increases the solubility of most solids in water. Okay, and this solubility curve, when we observe that there are a few interesting points. The sodium nitrate, potassium nitrate and potassium bromide, they are showing considerable increase in solubility. So this is one group. Okay, with the temperature their solubility is increasing considerably. But this other group, that is potassium chloride, sodium chloride, their increase is only very little with respect to increase in temperature. This potassium sulfate and calcium sulfate, they are showing somewhat anomalous solubility, that is first it is increasing and then it is decreasing. Okay, now if you take the sodium sulfate, decahydrate, which is also known as the Glauber salt. Okay, sodium sulfate decahydrate, deca means 10, it is a hydrated. Okay, so simply if you take sodium sulfate, it is Na2SO4, but we are putting a dot and then we are writing 10H2O. That means there are 10 water molecules that are associated with this compound. Okay, so what are these 10 molecules of water? These are the hydration of this compound. Okay, so what happens is, when we increase the temperature, for example in the case of sodium sulfate, when we increase the temperature and we check the solubility, the sodium sulfate initially its solubility increases. Okay, but at around 32.8 degrees centigrade its solubility will decrease like this. Okay, so at this range, below 32 degree centigrade, it is in a hydrated form. Okay, but after the increase in temperature of 32.8 degree centigrade, it loses its hydration and it is simply sodium sulfate. Okay, so this anhydrous form of sodium sulfate is found at the temperature above 32.8 degree centigrade. Why this decrease in the solubility after this? So there are the two important terms. One is the endothermic and one is the exothermic. Endothermic and exothermic. Endo means inside, exo means outside. Okay, thermic means something to do with the temperature, thermal. So what is happening is endothermic means the heat is taken inside the system. Exothermic means heat is released outside the system. Okay, so if any reaction is resulting in the release of heat, that is exothermic reaction. If any reaction is resulting in the reduction in the temperature, that is the heat is absorbed into the reaction and therefore the outside temperature will fall down. Okay, that is the endothermic reaction. Okay, so in endothermic process, the solubility of the solute will increase with the increase in temperature. Okay, for example, it is the potassium nitrate, sodium nitrate. When we increase the temperature, okay, then what is happening? Solubility increases, isn't it? Here the solubility is increasing with the increase in temperature. It is a endothermic reaction. Exothermic process, okay, calcium sulfate, what is happening? It is a exothermic process. The solubility will increase on lowering the temperature. If you increase the temperature, then what will happen? The solubility will decrease. It will increase until a certain point, but after that it will start decreasing. Okay, now solubility curves are useful because they can be used to determine the solubility of a substance at a given temperature. And if we want to check what is the effect of cooling a hot solution of different substances, okay, that can be easily done using these curves. Okay, now how do we determine the solubility of a solute at a particular temperature? So now let us look at how to determine the solubility of a solute at a given temperature. So we need to first note the temperature of the saturated solution. Okay, because the solubility has to determined at a particular temperature. So what is the temperature we are using here? The temperature of the saturated solution. Next, we are going to weigh a clean dry evaporating dish. Okay, so that is a glass dish will be there. So let us say the empty glass dish, okay, is M. So put the standard solution in it and weigh again. Okay, so we are going to add the standard solution. Okay, so it will become M1, that is with the standard solution. Okay, now we are going to dry it, okay, by heating, and then we are going to take the weight. Okay, so the dry form after heating. Okay, now what was the mass of the saturated solution is nothing but how much salt is remaining. So how much salt is remaining is nothing but M2 by M2 minus M1, that is the mass of the solute. Okay, now what is the mass of the solvent? Mass of solvent is nothing but the mass of the saturated solution, mass of saturated solution minus mass of the solute. What is the mass of the saturated solution? That is nothing but m1 minus m. Okay, m1 is the standard solution, m is the empty, whatever the glass dish was there. Okay, now that is the mass of the saturated solution. We are subtracting from that mass the mass of the solute. Then what will remain? The mass of the solvent will remain. Now, what is the equation of the solubility at a given temperature? Is nothing but the mass of solute by mass of solvent into 100. Okay, so mass of solute is m2 minus m, okay, by mass of the solvent is m1 minus m minus m2 minus m, okay, into 100. So experimentally we can determine in this way what is the solubility of a solute at a given temperature. Okay, now for example, if we look at a question in which there is the 12 grams of saturated solution of potassium chloride at 20 degree centigrade. Okay, 12 grams of KCl saturated, temperature 20 degree centigrade. Okay, and then it is evaporated and it leaves a solid residue of 3 grams. 3 grams of solute is remaining. Okay, remains after heating. Okay, question is what is the solubility of the potassium chloride? So how we will do it? What is the weight of the water in solution? Because you see, for solubility the equation is mass of solute by mass of solvent. So do we know what is the mass of the, let us write the equation. Okay, solubility is equal to mass of solute by mass of solvent into 100. Mass of solute, mass of solute is how much? 3 grams. Okay, mass of solvent we want to know, that is nothing but 12 minus 3 equal to 9. Okay, so what is the mass of solute? Mass of solute is 3, mass of solvent is nothing but 12 minus 3 is equal to 9 into 100, that is nothing but 3 by 9 into 100. Okay, that is coming to 33.3 grams. Okay, so the solubility of the KCl in water at 20 degree centigrade is 33.3 grams. So in this way the calculations are quite simple. Just we need to know what is the what is the mass of the solute, then mass of the solvent, that ratio into 100 is the solubility. Then we look at another question. Find the weight of sodium nitrate required to prepare 60 grams of the pure crystals from saturated solution at 70 degree centigrade. Solubility of sodium nitrate is 140 grams. Okay, at 70 degree centigrade itself, and 100 grams at 25 degree centigrade. Okay, so here we need to know that how much of the sodium nitrate is required to prepare this much amount of 60 grams of the crystals from the saturated solution at 70 degrees. What we know the solubility at 70 degrees and at 25 degrees. Okay, how much amount of this salt is comes out of the solution when the temperature is reduced from 70 degree centigrade to 25 degree centigrade. At 70 degree centigrade there was the 60 grams, sorry, that is the 140 grams, and at 25 degree centigrade that is the 100 grams. Okay, so 40 grams is coming out of the solution when you are reducing the temperature from 70 to 25 degree centigrade. So to obtain the 40 grams of crystal sodium nitrate, how much we have to take for 140 grams. Now to get the 60 grams, how much? You see, for 40 grams, 140 grams of sodium nitrate is required. For 60 grams, how much will be required? So 140 into 60, okay, by 40. Okay, then what do we get? Roughly something 110 grams. Okay, so this is also one way in which the question may be asked. Okay, so in you may practice the questions in your textbook, and in the next class we will be covering the effect of the pressure temperature on the solubility of gases in water. Okay, and we will discuss about what are crystals and what is crystallization. Okay, see you in the next class. Thank you.